What up, Naughty Steppers? Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of the first edition of Rampage Open Air Festival. Rampage Open Air, the summer edition of the self-proclaimed biggest dubstep and D&B party in the universe, Rampage, which almost always happens in March in a big warehouse sort of venue located in Antwerp, Belgium. But for this year, their decade year, they also brought it outdoors to Lommel and a more atypical festival environment, hence the title. Myself personally, I'd never been to Rampage before, an event I'd always wanted to go to but never had the chance. I had however tuned into the live stream most years, so that definitely gave me a good understanding of the general vibe of it, which I think was enough to know what to expect, what the Rampage concept was all about, leaving me very excited for open air. And so now, having experienced open air and looking back on it, I thought it would be a good opportunity to give some thoughts on the whole thing. Of course, I can't compare it to the original Rampage festival itself, but I can to others of its kind that I have been to. What I'm going to do here is begin with the less positive stuff, that which I think could be improved on going forward, before moving on to the stuff that I did enjoy about it, that which I think made Rampage Open Air as enjoyable as it was. Gonna finish with a couple of concluding thoughts as well, just to give an overall brief summary of it and where it's at going forward. And so, without further ado, starting with the stuff that I think could do with improving, and the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the whole carp and environmental situation. And this is something that I want to get others' thoughts on actually, because it doesn't really apply to me, as I didn't buy a drink the whole time I was there. Essentially, the idea was keeping the festival as ecologically clean as possible. So far, so good. Upon entering the festival, you're given a recycle token and can only buy another drink after your first one if you come back with the container that your drink was in, whether it's a bottle or a cup or something else like that. Not having the bottle or cup means paying for another recycle token on top of the drink that you're about to pay for. And please, please, please tell me if I've got that wrong. To be honest, I think it's a really good idea, but it needs to be a bit more watertight if they really want it to work. They also gave us bin liners on entrance, which I thought was another great idea, but I mean, that didn't stop people from littering a lot. And I know it's a difficult thing managing what people are doing. You don't want to be too overbearing with it, especially something like throwing away rubbish. But yeah, if they are able to tighten up that whole process just a little bit more in whatever way they do, then it really would be perfect, and it would be them really shining a light and being a fantastic example for other festivals going forward. Second thing is not being able to bring any sort of liquid container into the main festival area. Yeah, I wasn't really sure about the thinking behind this one, especially because the only thing you can refill on is water. It's not as if I'm continually going in there and reloading on unlimited beer. It was so unbelievably hot on the first day, and having to keep buying water when you're in there, and also accounting for the fact that we are dancing and getting exhausted, just isn't a thing. So I think as long as they're empty, that should be allowed. Maybe not so if there is liquid in there, you never know what it could be, but if not, then I think we can allow that. Final liquid related thing, I feel like there needed to be more water stations. To my knowledge, there was only one in that toilet shower area. As I mentioned before, on the first day, the heat was practically unbearable. It was like 40 Celsius or something like that. And the planet's only getting warmer, so... Then again, you could say, well, it wasn't the biggest camping area, so it wouldn't have taken too long to get to that one station, but one more would have been great in my opinion. Food-wise, I can't say there was loads on offer in terms of the variation with the different stalls, especially for someone who doesn't eat meat or dairy. There were only 2 or 3 things on the whole campsite that I could eat, which obviously isn't ideal, and I think it's something that could easily be improved. And it is the way forward. I mean, if you want to be a properly ecological, forward-thinking, progressive event, then you're best off cutting down on the meat consumption and adding more veggie options at the very least. Moving on to some sound stuff, and something that I did notice every now and then, especially at the Frenzy venue, was the sound dipping in and out of volume. More so on day 1 than day 2, as if it was rectified in some way, but yeah, definitely something that I noticed and which can be perfected for next time. Moving on from there, the Move app. I don't know if other people had this, but they were sending me notifications an hour before everything was meant to happen. Overall, it was great in terms of making your own timetable. The design and layout was really good. Means you also don't have to buy a program, but yeah, everything was signaled an hour early. Not ideal. Another thing that wasn't necessarily bad, but could do with a lot of improving, is just the amount that was available in the day going on in the camping area. They had some good stuff happening, which I will get to in a bit, but for future editions of the event I think they could ramp it up much more, if you know what I mean. Especially seeing as the music only really got going at like 4 or 5 each day, and so that's a lot of time not really doing very much in not the biggest camping area. I think it's either that you have way more producers and therefore start earlier in the day, maybe at 12 or 1 in the main festival area, or you have more fun stuff going on in that camping area, cause there were moments where the festival experience just dragged a little. And lastly, a little experience that my friend Erin had with security, which I'm not going to dive into because I wasn't there and it's kind of her thing to talk about. But I'm sure she will address it when she gets back to America and makes a video of some sort about it. So yeah, definitely look out for that. But now for the good stuff, that which made me really enjoy Rampage Open Air. The live stream, something that I didn't know was going to carry into Open Air from the original Rampage festival, but which I'm very glad did. I mean, obviously, whilst it was happening, this doesn't apply to me because I was there, but it's great for people that couldn't go, and also for people like myself that could go who want to watch their favourite sets again. Secondly, I'm going to talk about that small tent in the camping area, which always had music blaring, which I thought was great, and it was awesome for keeping the energy going throughout the entire festival, all kinds of bass music as well, and also with what I assume were local DJs, so giving them a bit of support, getting their name out there, giving them a slot, etc. And the huge inflatable pool that they had going on right next to that, especially on the first day, was an example of a great thing that they did add. Pretty unique and essential for a lot of people, I think. Now moving into the main festival area, I think the way that they split the venues was very clever and well done. Having mostly dubstep in one and mostly drum and bass in the other was just a very good idea. On the way to the festival, a lot of the chat between people was about whether they were going for the dubstep or the drum and bass, and I don't think anyone could deny that a lot of people would have been going for one or the other. So to have that split for the most part I think was good, and in no way prevented anyone from going to the other one if they wanted to, and so that worked. There also wasn't any noise bleeding from one stage to another, and they weren't that far apart, and it's a problem that I've had at other festivals before, so yeah, big ups on that. They also had an advertising board outside each venue that updated with who was playing at that specific time, which I thought was so awesome. It's a shame that I didn't get any footage of it, but really, they were very, very helpful indeed. Maybe it's nothing new and something that is at other festivals that I just haven't seen before, but yeah, definitely something that should be kept going forward. Following on from there, the visuals were pretty great. Again, a thing of comparison, as I've seen some pretty bad ones in the past, but the standard here was pretty high. Penultimately, there were some great performances. Seems unfair in a way to single some of them out, but I know people will want me to do that. So, Sudden Death, Feed Me, Chime back-to-back Oliverse, Virtual Riot with Virus Syndicate, E-Craze back-to-back Graphite, but honestly, the list goes on and on. And lastly, the vibe and the people. Honestly, there was nothing confrontational about this festival. Everyone just got along and had a great time. From the camping area to the main festival area, the shows themselves, it was just a really organic vibe. Everyone there raging to the music they love. But again, that is a personal thing, you know, you could have had an experience completely different to my one, where the vibe was perhaps not as good. But if that was the case, then I would love to know if that happened to you. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm very interested as to how other people found it. And so in conclusion, I've got pretty much an equal amount of stuff that I think really worked and stuff that I think could be massively improved on going forward. But to be honest, I think they did a good job overall. Almost all the drawbacks are not so much outright bad things as things that just need working on, which I'm sure they will do. A lot about it definitely smacked of a festival in its first year, but again, that's where the improvement comes in. The first edition of a festival is always going to have a few issues, but I think comparatively this one has far fewer genuinely problematic ones than most. And I'm left thinking more than anything how good it could be as opposed to anything else, so all in all, I'm just really excited for it going forward. And big ups to Rampage for putting the event on and for the general idea actually. I think it's such a good one as a mutation and development from the original Rampage event. Not many of its kind, and it's really helping to keep bass music going in Europe on that large scale. So yeah, onwards and upwards I say. And so there we have it, my review and thoughts on Rampage Open Air Festival. I hope you enjoyed it. If you went, what did you guys make of it? Do you have anything that you enjoyed and didn't enjoy about it in particular? Stuff that you would keep and stuff that you would improve? Let me know all of your views, thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. If you're new to the Nawtystep channel, then I also do other stuff like EP and album reviews, top 5s, top 10s, rave footage, opinion pieces and way more, all within the world of bass music. So if that's something that interests you, then consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. But aside from that, guys, if it's naughty, then you know, so be sure as always to keep it naughty and stay safe, and I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.